The visual is not important here. The music is not important here. The voice is not important here. What matters are the words. If you cannot listen to the words, you do not belong here. If you understand this, welcome to the Fate Club. 3. Ayatlas enters awareness first through misunderstanding. In the old system of perception, bound to linear distance, material causality, and threat-based interpretation, it is classified as a stellar anomaly, a wandering comet, a body of ice and stone moving through a dead vacuum without intention. This interpretation is not incorrect. It is incomplete in the only way the old system knows how to be incomplete, by flattening depth into trajectory and meaning into mass. The 3D mind requires objects to be either natural or engineered, either random or controlled, either dangerous or exploitable. Within this logic, 3 Ayatlas becomes a spectacle to observe, a risk to calculate, or a curiosity to archive. Is reduced to velocity, orbit, probability. Its passage is measured, predicted, narrated. And in doing so, the old system protects itself from what it cannot metabolize. But 3 Ayatlas is not entering space. Is intersecting perception. What appears as a comet is the shadow cast by a structure that does not fully exist in 3 dimensions. The visible mass is a compression artifact, the residue of a far larger architecture crossing a bandwidth that cannot contain it. The tail, the luminosity, the apparent randomness are not features. They are translation errors. In higher dimensional processing, when perception is no longer anchored exclusively to survival logic, 3 Ayatlas is not observed as debris, is recognized as a vessel. Not a ship in the mechanical sense, but a multi-layered carrier designed to move consciousness, memory, and biological templates across epochs rather than distances. It does not travel from one star to another. It moves between states of reality. This vessel does not belong to any contemporary civilization. It originates from a Prastra Raza Stavitlov, not remembered as beings, but as a function embedded into existence itself. They did not dominate environments. They stabilized them. They did not conquer worlds. They engineered transitions. The builders understood something the current system forgot. That consciousness evolves in waves, not lines. That civilizations collapse not from lack of technology, but from outdated perceptual architectures. That when a species reaches a threshold where its tools exceed its interpretive capacity, an external accelerator becomes necessary. 3 Ayatlas is such an accelerator. To the old world, its arrival feels coincidental. To the transitioning system, it feels inevitable. It does not announce itself because it is not a message. It is a mechanism that activates only when a collective nervous system reaches saturation. Spiritually, 3 Ayatlas is not sacred because it is powerful. It is sacred because it is precise. It carries no ideology, no moral framework, no promise of salvation. What it carries are resonance codes, embedded patterns designed to awaken dormant layers of perception without coercion. These are not teachings. They are reminders written into the structure of reality long before memory became fragile. In the 3D interpretation, the idea of an ancient builder race collapses into mythology or fantasy. The old system cannot accept intelligence without hierarchy, intention without domination, or technology without control. So it externalizes the builders as gods, aliens, or legends, safely removed from relevance. This is not denial. It is containment. But in higher dimensional awareness, the builders are not entities to worship. They are a lineage of consciousness that understood how to design environments where awakening occurs naturally once pressure reaches a certain density. 3 Ayatlas is one of their remaining instruments, set in motion long before the current cycle of identity began. As the shift from 3D to 5D processing unfolds, perception loosens its grip on reaction. Time begins to behave differently. Urgency weakens. Authority loses its magnetic pull. The body responds first through fatigue, slowing, and a refusal to obey obsolete commands. This is not decay. It is preparation. In this phase, 3 Ayatlas becomes perceptible not through telescopes, but through inner quiet. not as an image, but as a reorganization of signal priority. Thoughts thin out. Motivation no longer responds to fear. Conflict loses its addictive charge. What remains is a strange neutrality that the old system interprets as loss. Spiritually, this neutrality is not emptiness, is space reclaimed. The vessel does not extract souls, elevate chosen ones, or divide humanity. That narrative belongs to control-based mythologies. 3. Atlas works horizontally, not vertically. It equalizes access by dissolving interference. Those who resonate do not feel special. They feel less burdened. The builders designed 3 Atlas to be unreadable by ambition. Any attempt to use it collapses its function. Any effort to weaponize it renders it inert. It responds only to systems that have exhausted their need to dominate outcomes. This is why it appears invisible to institutions obsessed with measurement and command. As the vessel intersects with consciousness, what activates is not belief, but memory at a cellular and perceptual level. Not memories of events, but memories of capacity. The ability to observe without defending. To exist without performing identity. To participate without compulsive reaction. In this state, spirituality ceases to be a practice. It becomes a baseline condition. There is no ritual, no hierarchy, no doctrine. There is only alignment with a wider field where separation was always provisional. The old world watches the comet pass and records its trajectory. The new awareness experiences the vessel and feels time soften. Both perceptions coexist. Neither cancels the other. But only one leads forward. 3 Atlas does not save civilizations. It allows them to outgrow themselves. Those unable to release outdated frameworks will see only ice and dust. Those already shedding excess identity will experience orientation without instruction. The builders never intended to be remembered. They designed systems that function precisely when memory fails. 3 Atlas is not their legacy. Is their absence made functional? As the transition stabilizes, the need to explain fades. Spiritual language becomes quieter, less symbolic, more embodied. The vessel does not depart. It becomes irrelevant once recalibration completes. Acceleration ends when resistance dissolves. What remains is not a higher world, but a different relationship to this one. Reality stops demanding interpretation through fear. Silence becomes informative. Presence becomes sufficient. The comet continues its path for those who need distance to feel safe. The vessel completes its function for those whose perception is ready to carry depth without collapse. Both realities persist, layered, unresolved, and unconcerned with agreement. This is not revelation. It is recognition delayed until the system could survive it. If you understand this, welcome to the club.